funny. It's Sonny. How about like you transitioning to Cincinnati, man? First of all, congratulations, dude! All-star season last year. I was just looking back. Yeah, back at your numbers too. You gave up like 120 hits and 170 something innings, man. Pretty good at this pitching thing,
man.
Huh?
I tried. I got back to I got with DJ, who was huge for me. Like I trust him. Like we were talking about earlier. Like if I know you, I'll open up to you and like give you. But I mean, I'm getting better at that anyways. But I got with DJ, and he got back in my mind. It's like, listen, this is who you are. Like, this is who you are. And then I started kind of I did a lot of like Driveline and Rapsodo. And so I had all these numbers, and then like, apparently my numbers were like, if you look at them on a piece of paper, they're really good. But then how do you use that? Trevor helped me a lot. I asked him a bunch of questions too when he came over, and then I kind of like was taking off and doing better. And I was like, how do you use these and translate them into a real game? Like, what does this mean? Like, I spin the ball. Apparently, I was like, I can spin the ball better than anybody in baseball. So, like, use it. Like, use it, but use it in the right ways. But big time, he got into my head and was like, this is who you are. This is what you do. So why would you do anything other than that?
And who, just for our audience, DJ is
a pitching coach for the Reds now.
Derek Johnson.
Yeah. He was my pitching coach at Vanderbilt.
Right.
Caleb Cotham I played with him at Vanderbilt. I don't know, man. I found this like cheat code and just kept using it.
The thing about him is that he wanted all this information when he was in New York. They just didn't have it.
I was asking.
And he knew everything he needed to do to get right. They just couldn't help him. And I hate to say it and sound like that, but like he would benefit from the Matt Blake era of the pitching coach style. I mean, we love Larry. I mean, I love Larry.
I love Larry.
No, not on Larry, but I'm just saying.
Like, nothing bad about Larry.
I mean, late 2017, like he was asking me questions. He was like, "We need to figure this out."
I was like, "Bro, we're behind."
He was like, "We're behind." I'm like, "I'm fucking out of the game." I throw a cutter and a backdoor slider. Like I don't really give a shit. But I was like, "Bro, I can do that out." Yeah.
I was like, because when I came over, they was like, "All right, you spin your four seam at a top 5%. Like you spin the shit out of it." And I was like, "All right," but then my efficiency was like at 80%, so it doesn't play. It doesn't have that. Well, it's like the ride, like the lift, the vertical plane and break out. I don't have that. So, but that's what I was trying to do because we were like 2 years behind. We hadn't put it all together. Like if it's spinning at this percentage or all. I don't know it like that yet, but I know like what I can do with it. Then you throw it in this spot. If not, don't throw it there. So I couldn't be a high fastball guy.
Yeah. So see, you brought up a great point. You said you're almost out of the game. You got a cutter and a backdoor slider. Like you started off your career, just blowing dudes away, right?
Blowing doors.
So you learned as you went along, like how to adapt to different stuff. But the one consistent thing is like confidence. Like you got to attack the zone. No matter you throw an 80, 90, 100, it don't matter. You got to like attack the zone relentlessly with your stuff. And that's just what I saw. Like even just in the short time I was in Cincinnati, like from the beginning of the time there towards the end of the year, it was just like, here it is, hit it. Here it is, hit it. Here it is, hit it. And it puts the pressure on the other dude.
That's what we were talking about when Lester was just here, and he was talking about like transitioning and going into, not throwing as hard. But you still have to have the same mentality.
You have to,
like,
bro.
I wasn't throwing 97 to 88. But I'm still me on the fucking mound. Bro. You know what I'm saying? I'll fight you. It's still the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You should see me now. Like when I was talking about earlier, how you get your hat on and you're out there to the mound and you're like, I took a lot of that with me. So like when it's my turn to pitch, it ain't like I'm cool. But when it gets, I put a Lil Wayne on, just loud as can, every single day. They call it it's sunny day, like it's time. Like, but that came from watching and transitioning and.
Bro, you're a different person on the day you pitch.
Bro, I mean, I tell you, dude, I tell you I'm the baddest dude on the planet. Like, I believe it. But that's the thing. But that's what Trevor was saying. Like, it has to come with confidence. So, like, if you don't have it between here, and that's what I learned from New York, bro. Is like, I love that place because me as a person, I grew up so much as a husband, as a father. Like, walking through the other side, I'm like, wow, like that really opened my eyes. Like I was a sheltered kid from Tennessee, like not sheltered, but like I was just a little kid, grew up in a small town, went to Oakland, was there for like 4 or 5 years, kind of had 3 people talking to me. And then I come here and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So it kind of like opened my eyes and like made me a better person on and off the field. That's for sure. So I love that place. Like, it's a great part of my journey.
I love that perspective, man.
Yeah. I mean, it had to be. That's the only way you can make the All-Star team the next year. Is by learning from what you went through the year before.
Though. It was cool. But I just tried to be the same dude when I came in the clubhouse. Like, all my teammates, I felt like they were like, this is the same dude. Like, this is wild for him. It's got to be. But I tried to be the same dude in the clubhouse and like be the same person every day. So that was like, it made me better. That's for sure.
When you guys are talking about like kind of like using Rapsodo and the different Edgermatronic cams and whatever it is, like how are you actually in a bullpen session then tangibly applying that to your work? Like what you were just talking about, Sonny, like where it's okay if I hold it here. Like Trevor, are you hearing something from whoever's operating it? Like, look, when your hand is literally a quarter of an inch further out, like that's when you're getting the spin rate. Like, how does it tangibly translate to results?
Yeah, so I'm probably the last person you want to ask about this.
Yeah, but that's what I want to hear.
I'll rattle it off in all sorts of numerical ways for the next 2.5 hours, and no one else will talk. So
no. But, we love a beautiful mind.
Yeah,
on a simple, like I break it down. Like I look at it in 2,000 frames a second, and so I can see stuff in like 1 or 2 frames. And so we're talking literally like thousandths of a second. Like, okay, if you do this, move your thumb over here, move your fingers over there, like it's going to change it this way, like it'll shift the spin axis, or it'll like, whatever the case is. I talked to Michael Lorenzen about it actually yesterday. Just, hey, he wants more lateral break on his slide. I'm like, okay, like this is why. Your hand's getting to this point, you're kind of dragging the axis down here, your thumb's holding the ball in your hand too long. If you move your thumb this way, it's going to come out of your hand a little bit earlier, you'll get more of that sweep. So that's just using the camera.
You can see that with that slow motion camera.
With
it's
the
called
camera,
the Edgertronics thing.
Edgertronic, yeah. So I was actually the first person in baseball to actually own one of those. I bought it before it was even like sold. I bought it as a Kickstarter when we found it online in 2013. So I've got 6-7 years now under my belt of just pouring over the slow motion footage. And I mean, from 2013 till 2017, I didn't do anything but baseball. I mean, at the field, at home, like I would wake up in the middle of the night, like with an idea in my head, like have to write it down. So I poured over this footage just so I see things in such fine detail on the camera that I don't really need to use other. I understand them. I don't really need to see the numbers from Rapsodo. But there's times where you can't look at footage in between. Like we'll set the Rapsodo up during live BPs, and I'll create little competitions with myself. Like, okay, how hard can I throw my slider? But when I throw it harder, I got to make sure it maintains a certain spin direction or a certain movement profile, so I'm not turning it into a cutter. So just like little games like that. But it provides instant feedback, so you can make like pitch to pitch adjustments. You can practice making those adjustments as opposed to, let's throw the pen. Oh, like, what'd you think? You talk to the pitching coach. Hey, I think next time, like, maybe we should work on this. Okay, but now it's 3 days till you throw again. Mm-hmm. And so you can make this on a pitch-to-pitch basis now.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, it is.
It's wild, bro.
But that's when Jay Up was just sitting here, we were just talking, like, that's the same, like, that's the information that the players want now.
Yeah.
And that, like, the one person I always go back to is him.
Yeah.
Because we would sit up all night trying to figure out what the fuck everything
Bro, we would look
meant.
we was reading articles and
we
stuff.
We had no idea, but we knew Houston was ahead of us. Like,
we knew that. We knew it.
We could just feel like they were
You just didn't know how far ahead.
We just didn't. Well, yeah, fuck that.
We was going in 2017 and we was sitting in the bullpen like, damn, what is that?
What the fuck are they doing?
What is that? Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's so
you
meanwhile, Trevor Bauer's like, haha, I'm an investor in that.
I should be. I fucked it up. I wasn't thinking in business yet. At that point in my career, I was still trying to make it in the big leagues. So I wasn't thinking this way. And like I knew how much it was going to change the game, but I didn't like go that route. I should have. And
they should like grandfather in like a point or something.
You know how
fast
I could have learned Andy Pettit's cutter if we would have had that shit?
Yeah.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
It would have took me 3 years to learn it.
You could look at the numbers that he does it, and then you could just throw it. And then if you miss it, you can change it a little bit, change your hand from here to here to here. Like,
or you flip him around on the video and you're like, oh, now Andy Pettit's a lefty? Okay, and his hand's here and my hand's there.
No wonder it ain't going to do it. If you spin, it's all about spinning the ball.
Yeah.
And it's all about how to spin the ball. That's all it is. Like how fast you can spin it. And then if you can spin it fast,
what direction?
Then what direction do you want it to go? Do you want it to do that? What do you want the ball to do? That.
I mean, when you're on the mound in a start, though, are you still computing it that technically?
No.
Okay.
No, but you've developed something that you
was
know is a
consistent
weapon.
already.
And you know, like, so for me, like, I developed this slider that I never threw in New York.
Yeah.
And I would talk to Trevor all the time. And so my curveball would have like, I don't know, like it would have like this shape and it would spin it over 3,000 RPMs or whatever it is. And it breaks, it'll tell you it breaks 20 inches and inches, like it tells you how much it breaks. So you're like, okay, so Trevor, he tries to take his curveball and he makes it go this way, top to bottom. And then he takes a slider and he makes it go this way. So like I was like, okay, I need a slider that goes that way.
Yeah.
That shit pissed me off so much.
And I got it, bro. I was like, and then I'm like, bro, this is what you do, man.
he came to me. He's like, hey, what do you got on the slide? I'm like, oh, it's this, and this, whatever we talk about, right? And he goes out in his next pen. And he's like, hey, is that it? And it's like moving more than mine. I'm like, how in the hell?
I've had one of these cameras since 2013.
I was like, I got that pitch. And they punched out like
He picked it up so quick, but that's the power of the technology now. You see it one time on video, you're like, oh,
that's all I got to do.
My hand's here. I need it there. Oh, I can make that adjustment.
It's easy.
And then being super athletic, like you can
and then I could always spin the ball. Like I know how to spin the ball.
Yeah,
like
he's crazy talented with that.
Yeah.
Like,
so just now, how do you want it to spin? That's what I learned. I would be like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Before we traded for him, I'd be sitting there with Caleb because I was always interested in it.
Yeah.
I would be sitting there with Caleb and I would be like, all right, I never looked at a scouting report like this in my life. But we were about to play the Braves or something, and Trevor just pitched against the Braves, and he had won like 7 innings or something. And I was like, all right, let me pull up. But they pull up this scouting report now, and it shows every single pitch that you throw or an opposing pitcher throws, and it has these like lasers of like what their pitches did, all fastball locations. And I was like, oh, he threw all of his four seams right here, all of his sliders right here, and I was like, okay, that's the game plan though, because you dominated. Like they can't handle the spin up. They definitely can't handle spin down and away, so spin it as much as you can. So I was like, all right, if I win in doubt, I'm going to throw something down here because that's what – and then I'm going to throw it with confidence because that's what the percentages say. That's a fact. That is a fact. I'm going to do it, and it's going to work because I'm the best at it, and my slider's better than that dude's slider. I'm saying when I was –
Well,
not you, Trevor. Not you.
No, but that's my mentality, bro. That's my mentality. Yeah, I can do it. I can just do that. Like, that's all I got to do.
Yeah.
Because the hitters ain't going to be able to adjust next game.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. This is like, it's fascinating, especially like, I'm sure for our like, the dudes who are listening to this, and ladies, of course, who are like into the pitching mechanics, know that like, stuff's fascinating, man. You can nerd out on it. It's awesome. Now, on a more broad basis, the Astros. This is being released this week. Some of the ones we're recording here in Arizona are going to be released a little bit later on, so the conversation tends to be a little more evergreen. But here at Mountain Shadows Resort in Paradise Valley and the lovely people here, this one is actually being released right now. You like that plug? You like that?
Yeah. I was like, Dick, what's he about to say?
The water here is delicious. You really need to try it. So, but like we're releasing this week, so it is still current, right? So. And I want to ask you guys, because you're both relevant to this discussion in different ways. Obviously, C has expressed himself.